Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Judy, and welcome back to our channel. Okay everybody, so it is time for another recap of our favorite television show here on the Zachary Mike channel, 1,000 Pound Sisters on TLC, featuring the one and only Amy and Tammy Slayton. We love our YouTube famous sisters, and we have a lot to talk about this week, like a lot. But before we get to that, I do want to check in with Miss Judy Lou Who. So Judy, what's up?
This bitch went to the ER for Chinese food.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Judy. Appreciate it, as always. So as you know, sometimes when I do these recaps, I like to give a little bit of a weekend review of things that have happened on the social media since the last episode aired. Now, this might not be everything that happened. I'm sure I missed some things, but this felt like the most pertinent stuff to share, stuff that like actually relates to what's going on the television show currently in this moment. So the first thing I want to share is that Chris joined YouTube. So if you missed me reacting to his YouTube channel yesterday, I'll link it down below. Go give it a check out. Go check it out after you watch this video and go see what he's up to over there. I definitely think it might be helpful for us to have this, to see how he's doing, to see what he might be up to post filming season 2. So definitely go give it a look. I'll leave it linked down below. Other things that happened on social media revolve around Miss Tammy. Now, Miss Tammy is out here on the TikTok doing her TikTok thing. I mean, we've talked about her TikTok and how famous she is on the TikTok, okay? I've said TikTok now like 12 times. Well, on the TikTok, she had posted some kind of thing about Valentine's Day, and somebody was like, okay, but Jerry, right, like Jerry. And then Tammy said, oh, sis, I'm single. Jerry who? Jerry where? Okay, so Tammy's single now, which like really made this episode awkward, I guess is what I'm saying, because the whole episode was very Jerry centered. Like it was very much about Jerry and Jerry's presence and Jerry's influence over Tammy on the show. The other thing that came out prior to the show airing was that I think TMZ, maybe some entertainment news source released that Tammy was pansexual. I think Tammy shared it on her own Instagram, but I did also see Michael B. Petty post it on Twitter. So that happened. I mean, I kind of already showed y'all the TikTok last week that indicated that she was pansexual. So, I mean, if you watch my channel, this shouldn't be news to you, but maybe it is. And here we are. And it comes up in today's episode. So we'll talk about that a little bit more later. The only other thing I want to share is that Tammy let me know that she's on an Apple journey. So I just thought that was funny. I really appreciated it. I love the Slayton sisters so much, and I do appreciate that they chat with me in the DMs and share my videos and have a good laugh with me. So go give some love to Tammy and Amy on their other social medias and follow them and all of that. Yeah, that's all the stuff I think that happened on social media since the last episode. But certainly, y'all feel free to send me DMs and stuff like that if you see them up to something that you feel like is worthy of talking. I mean, I'm keeping my eyes out, but it does always help to get the DMs from you all when something's going down. So let's jump into this episode, shall we? The episode starts off with Amy and Michael heading to go do their maternity photo shoot, and wow, what a journey, what a trip. So Amy and Michael are in the car on their way, and you know, they gotta tie in and remind us that Jerry is a concept as a part of this episode. So they start off in the van talking about Jerry and how he keeps bringing in sweets to Tammy, and Amy's like, you know, if he really did love her, like, he would not be doing this, which I do want to say is something that a lot of people, well, I won't say a lot, but there were a number of people in the comments last week that were like, okay, but also how are all of these family members going to get mad at Jerry when, like, they've been enabling Tammy her whole life? And I think, yes, fair point. I agree. We're on the same page. But it seems to me that, at least, especially in this episode, that Amy, Chris, and Misty are all on the same page that, like, shit's gotta turn around. Shit's gotta change, right? And so I think that's the difference, is that they are at a spot now where they're like, we can't go on enabling our sister if we want her to continue to be in our lives. And Jerry's not on that. Jerry's not on that ride, that float, that parade, that whoever, whatever. He's not on the train with them, okay? They're on separate modes of transportation. So they get to the shoot and they're dressed like Greek gods, which I do remember this being in like the super trailer of the season that TLC put out before season 2 started airing. But I'd just forgotten, and it was so funny to me, like, like, it was so funny. And Amy's like, oh gosh, like, I look beautiful. My costume turned out great. But Michael looks like he's just wearing a sheet. And I was like, honestly, y'all are giving me Dollar Tree Zeus and Aphrodite, okay? Y'all are giving me Dollar Tree versions of those gods. But, like, also not mad about it, because I wouldn't have my Slaytons any other way. Let's just be clear. And at one point, before I like typed it out, because I typed my notes and I typed things I want to remember to like say or comment on. And moments after I typed the thing about Dollar Tree, Zeus, and Aphrodite, out comes Amy calling herself Fatadite? Fatter? I don't know. She's like, Aphrodite's skinny and I'm not. And you know, I hope one day Amy can move past like making fat jokes about herself. You know, I think she's funny enough to not have to rely on that. But I did giggle along with her when she made that comment about herself. But in all seriousness, I thought that Amy looked like very beautiful, and she really looked like she appreciated this experience. And I feel like this had to be something that, you know, she might not have had the opportunity to do if it wasn't for the show. And I think a lot of things on this show have opened her up to the opportunities to like do stuff that she wouldn't have done before. Like, I mean, the vacation she took with Michael, this photo shoot. I have a feeling like Amy and Michael, prior to TLC coming into their lives, didn't just have money lying around to do a big fancy maternity photo shoot, you know? So I did appreciate that. I thought that was like really cute and endearing, and I'm happy that she's gonna have those photos to remember forever. But if you think about it, she's really gonna have this whole television series to document her pregnancy with her first child, and I just think that that's like really great for her. And I have to say, they also included a goddamn farting clip.
I farted though.
Blame it on the baby.
And at this point, I'm thinking, you know, a few weeks ago I said farting is not a personality, but maybe it is. Maybe I missed something. Maybe farting can be a brand, a marketing brand, a personality, something that makes you unique. In my opinion, I mean, I know we all fart, but like Amy said, I'm really gonna copyright that. I'm gonna trademark, #TM trademarked, copywritten. Nobody else can fart like Amy Slayton can fart, okay? I also want to point out that at the time of filming this particular part of the show, this maternity photo shoot, Amy says that she is 7 months along in the pregnancy, and we know that the meet and greet in real time happened in like September. So it's probably pretty easy, and I know this is not like shocking to anybody, right? Like I'm not like big brain math major over here, do click clack moo cows that type. I'm not over here on my calculator doing all that and anything special, but I think it's safe to say at this point that sis has had the baby. Like, Gage is here. Gage is in the world. So I'm really looking forward to getting to meet Gage, hopefully in season 2, but if not season 2, I know that Amy will probably be posting some pictures all over social media once she's able to. I just have to assume that it's happening. We're gonna put good vibes out there that that's what happened for Amy in season 2. So the next scene was quite truly very uncomfy for me. It was Tammy cleaning up a spider bite that she got from going on that hay ride. She was like, oh, I got chills. I was feeling feverish. I'm like, girl, did you get a COVID test? Even though we know also in real life, like later down the road, she actually did have COVID. But she had the spider bite, and thank God Jerry was helping her clean it, because, like, Jerry, do anything, 2021, try that challenge, okay? But he was helping her clean it, and I was just like, they, like, showed the bite, and I'm not going to show it in this video, but they showed the bite, and I actually really did, like, gag a little bit, which is, like, I don't know. I don't do good with, like, health-related stuff. Like, if it's on my body, I'm probably fine, but anybody else's, it's like, this is too much for me. And then I say that, but I also like watching, like, Dr. Pimple Popper videos, so I don't know what my issue is, but this thing looked real gross, okay? So Tammy, during all of this, in a confessional, I think, maybe, or maybe she says it out loud to Jerry, I don't remember, but she says that Jerry is the one that's addicted to all this bad junk food and stuff, and that it's a problem. And I'm like, okay, maybe he is, but also sis, like, we can't put all the blame on Jerry, because at the end of the day, like, you're the one, ultimately, whether he's bringing it in or out of the house, you're the one putting it into your mouth, you know? I mean, I'm guessing, okay? But then the follow-up is from Jerry in a confessional where he says he feels bad for eating, but when the producers check him on that...
I do feel bad when I eat certain things in front of Tammy because I know she ain't supposed to have it.
And you still do it?
Still do it.
Sus. Like, it's so apparent throughout this whole episode, and really, like, even looking back on last week's episode, that these two are not good for each other. They are not good for each other. Like, yes, there is blame on both parts. Yes, there is. We can acknowledge those multiple truths, y'all. We surely can. So, yes, Tammy shouldn't be asking for food, shouldn't be eating the food, etc. And he shouldn't be bringing it in. Like, not good for each other. Truly not. Truly not. So the next scene is Tammy and Chris going to the dentist, and, well, there's really two dentist-related scenes, right? There's the trip to the dentist, and then there's actually being at the dentist. So the trip to the dentist is the spicy part, okay? Why is it spicy? It's spicy. Okay, so Tammy's like, oh, I haven't been to the dentist in 10 years. And I honestly know that, like, a lot of stuff related to Tammy's dentist trip and experience sounds like a lot. But I just, like, want to encourage y'all to be, like, kind and understanding that there are lots of things that prohibit people from making trips to the dentist. And that includes things that Tammy talks about, which is her issues with mobility, her size, her weight, etc. But, like, I know, even from my own personal experience, like, I got all caught up and busy during, like, college and grad school that I hadn't gone to the dentist in a really long time because, like, when I was away, I didn't bother to find a new one, but I also didn't make trips back home to go see my family dentist that I grew up with. And after that, I had, like, so much shame built up about not going to the dentist myself that I kept putting it off until finally I did, and now I go to the dentist regularly. But, like, there are so many things like that, and, like, the dentist is a place that's, like, so easy to feel insecure, and so scary for some people too. Like, being able to find a place that's welcoming and comforting is, like, so important when you're looking for a dentist. So I say all of that to be like, hey, I know that it sounds like a lot that Tammy hasn't been in 10 years, but also, like, try to be understanding. Like, really, truly, like, dental hygiene is very stressful and can be a very scary experience for a lot of people, so make love in your heart. I guess that's all I'm saying, okay? So the car ride there is where shit really picks up, like I mentioned, and it picks up because Chris is like, hey, by the way, like, how's your diet going? And Tammy's like, oh, well, I cut back on portions, whatever that means for her. I say that because, like, we don't know what that means for her. Like, that could mean she went from, like, drinking gallons of ranch to just like 1 gallon of ranch, you know? And that wouldn't really make too much of a difference. But Chris basically is like, listen, I'm gonna call you out on your BS, write me out, okay? Like, we're not gonna do this because Tammy had a 32-ounce milkshake that she admits that Jerry got for her, and it's like, what part of that is on your diet? Like, Chris would like to know, and Chris would also like to know who got it for you, which you say Jerry did. And then he's like, well, then we're gonna have to hold Jerry accountable. And then Tammy wants to come in and wants to defend Jerry and say, oh, but it's not him, it's me. But the thing is like, he doesn't need to bring it to you just as much as you don't need to eat it. Like, I don't understand. Like, y'all are good for each other. I really do appreciate here where, like, Chris is ready to call Jerry out as being an enabler and says, like, I'm gonna have a talk with Jerry about this. I don't know. Up until now, I've been kind of skeptical about how helpful Chris is or isn't. I think you've probably seen that a little bit in my videos thus far because, you know, we haven't really seen anything quite yet to show that, like, Chris was going to come out here and really, like, push Tammy. But, like, this episode, he goes in and he pushes her. He says, we are gonna do something about this. I'm gonna push you. So she gets to the dentist, and I just have to commend the dentist for, like, creating an environment that was, like, welcoming to her. They talked about trying to find some, like, ways to give her false teeth to fill in the missing gaps. She does mention that when she was in, I think, like, the 3rd grade, she tripped and fell and knocked out her teeth, and that's why she doesn't have those teeth. And so hopefully they can, like, help find a way to replace those and help her feel confident. Like, I do think that, like, having a smile that you feel confident about really changes you, right? Because if you're not, like, actively smiling regularly because you're self-conscious about the way your teeth look or what it looks like when you smile, then, like, you're not going to be as happy. You're not going to be happy if you have to, like, hide your smiles and hide your happiness, you know? So overall, it seemed like Tammy had a really good experience, and I'm just like, as somebody who has had anxiety related to going to the dentist before, I'm just happy that she had a good experience. I think everybody deserves that in any kind of, like, healthcare situation. So the next scene is Chris coming to address Jerry, and, well, he does a little bit more than that, but the first thing he does is address Jerry, which Jerry's just, like, so awkward in this space. He's just, like, sitting on this couch fumbling around with the Cheetos. There was something that felt very unnatural about it. I was ready to just, like, credit it to the fact that, like, Jerry's probably not used to filming in the way that the rest of the Slaytons are. But I don't know, something felt uncomfy, unnatural. I didn't love it. So Chris is like, listen, I'm gonna walk you out to your car on your way to the store, which I think is what Jerry's doing. I think he's going to the store or something. He walks Jerry out and he says, we're gonna have a conversation, okay? So Chris basically spells it out for what it is. He says, listen, Tammy is in a situation that's life or death, and you gotta be a part of her life. You gotta be a part of her continuing to live. And Jerry's like, yeah, man, you know, I want the best for her. I agree. And Chris is like, that better be the case or we will be having a follow-up combo. So, you know, again, Chris is really out here proving to me that, like, he means business. He's willing to have that direct conversation. Because honestly, Amy and Misty kind of just, like skirted around the issue. And Chris said, oh no, I'm going to be direct. Which, like, directness is something I value in feedback. Like, if you got feedback from me, I prefer it to be direct. And that's also how I give feedback, okay? I'm a very direct person. So I appreciate that Chris just got in there and he just said it for what it was. He said what needed to be said. And then Jerry has this confessional where he talks about how he slipped a couple times.
Since I've been in Kentucky, I slipped a couple of times, knowing Tammy ain't supposed to have certain things, but she hard-headed.
And again, I'm just like, y'all are both part of this problem. Y'all are both part of this problem. I don't get it. Like, I don't get how you, like, slip. Like, literally, Tammy's life is at risk. Like, you don't need to bring any of this stuff into our house. So Chris goes back into the house to reconvene with Tammy. Tammy asks Chris what he thinks about Jerry, and Chris gives this like old, oh, I don't care as long as you're happy kind of response, which to me, I've heard people say that to people about their significant others, their spouses. And every time I've heard some kind of response like that, it's always just been code for like, sis, I don't like him, but I guess if that's what you like, then that's what you like. Like when people are enthusiastic about your partner, they will tell you. They will say, oh my God, he's such a good fit for you. He's so cute. He's this, that, the other. That's not what Chris's response was. And Chris does bring another contraption for Tammy to work out on. He pushes her to use it. She does her little pedal thing. But Tammy looked goddamn miserable. She looked so miserable. So the next thing that happens is Tammy and Jerry are going on their first official date. But it's not just them. Their first date isn't just them because Jerry's ass can't push Tammy. So Amy and Michael have to come to help out to get her into the restaurant. Okay, so, no intimate one-on-one moment, although I'm sure they've had plenty of those in Tammy's apartment alone. But nothing too intimate because, listen, we gotta have our Lord and Savior Michael come out here and push her. Good. Thank God. Thank God for Michael for being such a caring brother-in-law to help Tammy out like that. Like, kudos to Michael. What a nice guy. Now, they go to a Mexican restaurant, and I just want to say I really, really miss a chips and salsa moment at a Mexican restaurant. It must be nice to be going out in the middle of this Panda Express right now that we're in and eating chips and salsa at a public restaurant. Must be nice. Wish I could relate, but I can't. I surely can't. There was also this weird moment where Tammy made Amy order Jerry's food. I don't know if y'all caught that, but I did not understand what was going on with that. And then Tammy gets this huge ass plate of steak nachos, which like, she did steak fajitas, which she did say, like, I don't want the rice, I don't want the beans, I don't want the tortillas. And honestly, it looked good as hell, but I was just like, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. And Tammy agreed. And Tammy did agree that that was a lot of food.
Portions are like, wow, who the heck are they trying to feed? I know I'm fat, but damn.
So they've been kind of like baiting this idea that Tammy had some deep, dark secret. And this is where the pansexuality comes in. And she finally lets Jerry know that she's pansexual, which like we love the pansexual representation. You love to see it. I'm not pansexual myself, but my partner is, and I know many other folks in real life who are pansexual, and I love that. I love that for them, and I love that for Tammy. I truly don't know how Jerry didn't already know. Like, part of me feels like this was like a little bit manufactured for the drama on the television, to be quite honest, because like, she's talked about this on the internet before, so it feels weird to me that he didn't know somehow. But lots of people on the internet didn't know. So, maybe it's just me and my overinvestment in YouTube personalities that I knew this already. Ultimately, Jerry's very understanding. Well, he doesn't really understand what it means to be pansexual, but he does say, like, listen, it is what it is. I love you. No worries. And Amy also doesn't understand what it means to be pansexual. But the reality is that sexuality is a spectrum, and within the context of the larger like queer community, there are lots of people in our own community that don't understand every type of identity. So I'm willing to say if you're willing to learn, then I'm willing to like be there with you. Just be respectful. Honestly, if it's not hurting you, like try to learn about what people are into doing, etc. It can be very affirming for people, and I'm glad that Tammy has a family that's willing to learn with her and accept her for her sexuality, as we all deserve. And then at the end of this scene, a producer is real shady and asks Amy if she wants Jerry to work out, and this is her response.
Maybe it works out with Jerry.
Yeah, so I ain't got to deal with her ass. I'm having a baby. Michael's gonna have to take care of me. I'm gonna have to take care of me. Who's gonna take care of Tammy? Jerry.
And honestly, I mean, I guess I can't blame Amy for wanting somebody to come in and replace her as a caretaker, because truly, like, Amy and Michael are gonna have their hands full with a baby. You know what I'm saying? So Jerry packs up to leave, and he's, had a good time meeting her crazy family. And Jerry is like talking actively about his concerns about who's gonna take care of Tammy when he's gone, which, like, dude, you were there for like a week, so, and you did not a whole lot. I mean, I guess we didn't see what was happening behind the scenes, but anytime we saw you, you were, besides that spider bite situation type of deal moment, you didn't do a whole lot. Okay, so I'm sure Tammy's gonna find a way. I'm sure Tammy will find a way. There's also a moment where the shady TLC producers ask Jerry if he's ready to take on the responsibility of Tammy.
Be ready to take on all the responsibility that Tammy requires.
No, I'm not ready to take on that responsibility.
Is it because you know it's a big responsibility?
Yeah.
And the fact that he's not ready to take this on is just like, what? What are we doing here, sir? Like, what is going on? And let me say this. A number of people commented on the last recap that I posted that they didn't feel like Jerry should be obligated to help because, it was Tammy and Tammy's family that got her into this situation, and Jerry shouldn't have to do this, that, the other. And I agree with that to some extent, and I also disagree because, listen, me is in a relationship, right? I'm in a relationship with my partner, and I signed up to be a part of this relationship. If there was ever some kind of like medical reason where I had to care for my partner, if I couldn't physically do it for myself, I would find some way to provide for my partner and take care of them, okay? Like, we're not just gonna casually like jump ship or not trying to take responsibility for that. Like, no, I'm not obligated to do anything, but like, this is what I signed up for. This is what I signed up for in this relationship. And certainly at this point, I would think Jerry would know that taking care of Tammy is not gonna be easy, okay? Like, it's not simple. Jerry also says at one point that, like, he just wants to see Tammy lose 200 pounds and go about being a normal person, which, like, sir, if she lost, like, 200 pounds, she'd still be in the 400s. Like, that's still probably not enough based on, like, what we've heard from, like, Dr. Proctor, her current doctor. Like, I just don't... Like, what planet are you on, Jerry? Like, what do you think is going on here? I don't get it. So essentially, Tammy's afraid that Jerry's never gonna come back. We get this little, like, YouTube selfie camera moment where she's going on about how he's been gone for 3 days. She literally says this.
Part of me died that day he left.
Which feels like a lot to have, like, that kind of energy attached to, I don't know, like a human, a long distance, like, boyfriend that you've met in real life twice. Like, I don't know. It feels like a lot. It is very sad, but also, like, it feels like a lot because we know, like I told you at the beginning of this video, that girl is single. That she and Jerry are over. So I just really hope that, like, she can continue on, post all of this, like, find a way to keep going because, like, he's not worth it. This guy, not worth it. Surely isn't. So the episode wraps up at the very end with Amy having a baby shower. It was thrown by Tammy, but really Chris comes in and, like, gets everything set up for her. So, like, it may as well be Chris throwing this baby shower. But it starts off, again, with them being stressed out about Tammy's mobility. Like, there have been so many of these instances in these episodes this season of, like, trying to navigate Tammy's lack of mobility that just stresses me out. So in this particular scene, they got to figure out a way to get her up onto, like, the raised platform where all the picnic tables are. and she has to just go up this little tiny ramp, and she eventually does it, but it's just like, at what point do you say, it's not enough that I can't navigate the world? Like, let me do everything I can in my power. And in a lot of ways, this is probably a good argument for why we need more accessibility across the board for all kinds of people and all kinds of abilities and disabilities. But the fact is that, like, Tammy seems to have given up, and it's just, like, hard to watch. It's hard to watch her struggle through these things. And I guess in this situation, I was happy to see that, like, she pushed through. She walked up the ramp. She got there on her own. But I just, like, want her to be able to do that all the time. We also got the Little Bit shot of the week, which, like, finally, Little Bit was only in this episode for, like, 2 seconds. It wasn't enough TLC. What are you doing? We need more Little Bit. They had a big conversation about food. I guess Tammy did good because she limited herself to 1 plate. They played some weird baby shower game, which, like, isn't really that weird in the context of I've seen some weird baby shower games, so, like, it's whatever, but they were smelling what was in these diapers. Kind of seems like a waste of diapers since I know diapers are expensive, but I'm gonna let y'all with these kids live your truth. I don't know what that's like, so I hope you enjoyed that moment. And then the family goes to play bocce ball without Tammy, which is code for we need an opportunity to talk on camera without Tammy right here where we can talk about Tammy, okay? So the family's all here, so let's all just go off to the side and start talking shit about Tammy. And I say talking shit, they're really not talking shit. They're just, like, talking about their concerns about her and essentially kind of, like, planning an intervention because they talk about how, like, nothing is working, how they've tried so many things. Amy mentions that she did follow through with getting her these, like, meals delivered, and they mention that Tammy ate all 32 meals in the span of 2 days. And that's wild. That is wild. That is just wild. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. Like, 32 meals, that's like 2 weeks worth of food if you're doing, like, 2 meals a day. I don't know. Math is, listen, not math major of the year over here, okay? So that's a lot. What I'm trying to say is that's a lot. Y'all can do the math and let me know in the comments. So yeah, that's kind of like where it ends. Like, it looks like they're fixing to have a intervention. Tammy's gonna blow up. Tammy's not gonna take that well. But also next week looks like fun. Like, they're going to a psychic and things like that. So I'm sure it'll also be a hoot and a nanny, okay? All right. Let me know down below what you thought of this episode. I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't particularly care for Jerry. I'm not a big fan, but he did bring the drama. He did spice it up. He did bring a plot line. So I appreciate that much, I guess. But I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Let me know. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens from here. If this is your first time on my channel, please make sure to subscribe down below, hit the bell button. I do a lot of Slayton content, but I do a lot of other silly stuff too, so just check it all out. And please leave me some comments, hit like, and click share, and copy and paste that link somewhere to one of your friends. Let somebody know. It helps with the algorithm. Also, please follow me on all of my social media. I had so much fun with y'all today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!